Shalom, 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 Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Most High in Christ bless. Another IUIC Captains in the Classroom class. I'm Captain Matthew, IUIC New Orleans. Welcome to another class. We are going to be talking about from kids to kings. All right, from kids to kings. That's the title of the class. We're going to jump right into it. We ain't going to waste no time. Give me Romans chapter 15, verse 4.
The book of Romans chapter 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
So the things that was written aforetime was written for us to learn from, all right? That we, through patience and comfort, might have hope. So we have to understand our mindset before this truth was a kid-like mentality. That's why we have high crime rates, because we can't control our tempers. That's why we have high anger issues, because we can't control our temper. That's why we're unsatisfied in a lot of things, because we're not able to look at things from the standpoint of an adult, because we're so used to being treated like children. That's why we have boyfriend and girlfriend. That's why we play house instead of actually getting married. That's why we as Israelites have to change the entire persona of the world and flip it right side back up. All right. So I got an article. You know, my teaching style is I like to use an article and filter it through the scriptures. So we got an article. All right. Let's go to the article. The 4 archetypes of the mature masculine, the king. So I want y'all to understand something. When we as men get ourselves together, the women will follow. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. The women will follow. Now, I want to get a scripture. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. Because when we as men get our stuff together, the women going to have to follow, because they want a man. And you ain't going to get no man unless you do what men like. That's why y'all dress the way y'all dress. That's why y'all do the things that y'all do. Y'all act the way that y'all act, because y'all get away with it because they got men that cater to it. Well, the kings of this earth, we have a specific agenda. We have specific rules. We have specific guidelines, because we follow our king. So that way you follow your king. Read that.
1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
So, one of the applications of this scripture is, as us in an immature mindset, we think like children. We understand like children. But when we become men, we put away childish things. The last time I played a video game, it was Madden 2002. The last video game I owned was a PlayStation 2, and I barely played that. Putting away childish things goes into just that. Now, if brothers want to do their video game thing, that's on you. Because nowadays, you can get paid for it. That's on you. But when that stuff starts to consume you, and all you can do is be a video game head, you can't put no work into this truth. You can't add no value to the men that are around you. You can't add no value to your nation. That's when you become a kid. All right? Now let's go to this article. We're going to go to the characteristics part.
The characteristics of the king in his fullness. He is centered.
He is centered. All right? So centered goes into what? Let's read on.
Throughout history, cultures have also often placed the king at the center of the universe. For him, radiated all the existence. If you look at how ancient civilizations laid out their cities, we often see that the dwelling place of the king or leader sat at the center.
So the king is in the middle. In most societies, the king's castle was in the middle. And that's much like how our king is. He's in the middle of everything. And he also leads at the forefront of everything. That's what men do. Jump to the third paragraph. Third paragraph. When a man, he is centered.
When a man is living the king archetype in his fullness, he feels the same centering power within himself.
So when you are living in this king archetype in his fullness, you are feeling that centering of power yourself. Read.
Not that he believes the world revolves around him, but rather that his confidence, purpose,
stop doing the back and forth thing,
and well-being give him a supreme sense of balance.
So his confidence, his purpose, and his well-being give him a supreme sense of balance. Now let's see what the scriptures say. Ecclesiastes 12:13. So let's talk about that purpose part. As kings on this earth, as men that are going from behaving like kids to behaving like kings, one of the first things that we have to understand is our purpose. Ecclesiastes 12:13.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments.
Fear God and keep his commandments. Read.
For this is the whole duty of man.
This is the whole duty of man. And yes, the Bible is written in masculine form. When men do it, everyone under us does it, meaning our wives and our children do it too. That's why if men ain't following the commandments, the women ain't going to follow the commandments. Your woman ain't following the commandments, look at you. It's something in you because she is a reflection of you. Go to Deuteronomy 7:6. Talking about this purpose. So the purpose of men is to keep the commandments. And we in turn teach them to those that are in our households. Read Deuteronomy 7:6.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
You know what it means when you hear those words, thou art an holy people to the Lord thy God? That means that everything about you is special. So that means that confidence that you feel as a king means I'm one of a kind. I'm part of a nation of people that can't nobody else touch. How would you not feel confident with that? Read.
The Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
God chose us to be a special people above all people. And in that people, the men are going to set the world in order. So yes, we are a holy people as a whole, but the men inside of that, we are the leads of that holy people. We are the examples to the world of what it is to be a holy people. Let's go to Sirach chapter 26, verse 21. All of this stuff is meant to put us in a perspective and to uplift us as men. We've been beat down in society enough. We've been beat down enough. Now it's time for empowerment. Now, you can either be empowered by this class or you can be offended. How can you be offended at a man taking his rightful place? I don't know. Read that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 21. So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified.
Our race that we leave or our children that we make will be magnified. Read.
Having the confidence of their good descent.
We have the confidence of our good descent, just like our children would have confidence in their good descent, because they'll say, oh, I descend from that powerful man right there. I descend from that powerful man right there. That man right there was my grandfather. We do it all the time as black people. Man, I know my grandpa was this, that, and the third. Yeah, my grandpa was one of the ones that led the rebellion. Yeah, my grandpa was one of the people in the Civil War that wasn't really going for what Esau was trying to teach us. He was trying to do his own thing. Yeah, my grandfather was Toussaint Louverture. My grandfather was Malcolm X. My grandfather was this person. My grandfather was Nat Turner. They would be proud to have that be their family. But now we as men can say, King David was my forefather. King Solomon was my forefather. Couldn't nobody touch King David's mighty men, and those was my family. Read it again.
So thy race, which thou leavest, shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent.
We have confidence in our good descent. Why? Because we come from the greatest nation on the face of the planet. Who gonna touch that? Nobody. And we coming back to that greatness. Go to Revelations 5 and 10. Confidence, purpose, and well-being. This gives us a good sense of balance. And this is all part of being centered. That's what they call it, centered. Read.
The book of Revelation, chapter 5, verse 10. And has made us unto our God kings and priests.
He made what? He made us what?
Kings and priests.
We are walking kings. But here's the thing. You got to believe that. And what does believe mean? Real quick, Sirach 32:24. He made us kings and priests. But guess what? If you believe that you're an African American, you're not a king or a priest. If you believe that you're a Muslim, you're not a king or a priest. If you believe that you are a Orthodox Christian or a Catholic or a Mormon or a Jehovah's Witness, you are not a king or a priest. You are a product of what your slave master has created. Whether it be Esau or Ishmael, your slave master has created what you believe. Read.
The book of Sirach, chapter 32, verse 24. He that believeth in the Lord taketh heed to the commandment.
So when you take heed to the commandment, you show your belief. When you take heed to the commandment, you have a chance to become a king. When you take heed to the commandment, you have a chance to rule the world. When you take heed to the commandment, you got a chance of putting your hand against your enemies and watching your enemies die in front of your face. But you got to keep the commandments in order to do that. Go to Proverbs 3:26.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 26. For the Lord shall be thy confidence.
The Lord shall be what?
Thy confidence.
The Lord is our confidence. Read.
And shall keep thy foot from being taken.
Why? Because we keeping his commandments. We confident to know, hey, we already taken care of. I'm going to show you one of the things that helped me out. Shout out to Captain Kimuel and shout out to Captain Hoshea. Give me Psalms 34:7. This ain't in my notes, but this helped me get confidence as well, especially when we traveling and we going all over the world and we doing the work of the Lord and we bringing past the destruction of this kingdom. This is what helps.
The book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him. And delivereth them.
The angel of the Lord is always there. Everywhere we go, everything we do, the angel of the Lord is there. And can't nothing happen to us unless it's meant to happen to us. When you meant to punch that clock, it is what it is. Go ahead and get your 40 hours and go ahead and go to sleep. Go to your chambers and wait for everybody else. Go back to Hebrews 3 and 14. Hebrews 3 and 14. I keep saying go back. I ain't even tell you to go there first. It is what it is. That's how I speak sometimes.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 3, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
For we are made partakers of Christ, if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end.
If we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end. And what was the beginning of our confidence? That the Lord is going to be there for us. That if we keep the commandments in Christ and endure to the end, we get the promises that was made to our forefathers. So that we have confidence in our good descent. Colossians 3. Colossians 3 and 1.
Yes, sir. The book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 1. If we then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God.
So, if we want to be with Christ, we got to search those things that are above. We have to focus on those things that are above. That's our well-being. Our well-being knows, hey, if I look on those things that are above, I'm not worried about the affairs of this life. I'm not entangling myself in a Kendrick Lamar-Drake beef when World War III is about to pop off. I'm not worried about what Offset wore at the basketball game, because I see Israel and Kazakhstan and Russia and Brazil and India and China. I see all of these people, they getting ready for war. And we inside the bubble of America talking about what exactly? Kodak Black Gold Teeth? What is it that we focusing on today? What new dance do they have out there on the internet that we need to distract ourselves with so that we won't know that World War III is coming? Read on, verse 2.
Verse 2. Set your affection on the things above, not on the things of the earth.
Setting your affection on things above means that everything that was promised to us, you know that it be true. You know that it's going to be one or the other. Either I'm going to get it because I'm going to keep the commandments in the faith of Christ, or I'm not going to get it, and I'm going to keep the commandments in the faith of Satan. And when I say keep the commandments in the faith of Satan, I mean you're going to follow Satan's rule. He's going to be your Lord. He's going to be your God. He's going to rule over you. You're going to submit yourself to him. One or the other. Go back to the article. That little black 3 words right there. He is
decisive.
He is decisive. Read that paragraph?
Yes, sir. The king is the executive of the other archetypes, and as such is charged with making decisions. His ability to be decisive is rooted in 2 things. First, who he is and what he stands for.
So your ability to make decisions stands in who you are and what you stand for. That's why a lot of people make bad decisions, because of what you stand for. That's why a lot of sisters make bad decisions, because of what you stand for. Oh, I liked him. He was cute. Oh, he said the right thing. He made me feel special. For about 5 minutes. Then he was gone. And now all men ain't nothing. But it was what you stood for that created that problem. Man, she crazy. I don't know why she acting like this. You knew she was crazy when you messed with her. Matter of fact, 7 times out of 10, somebody let you know she crazy. And you still go forward with it. No, bro, but she fine. It's because of what you stood for that made those bad decisions. But when you stand for something that's godly, you make godly decisions. Read the article again. First,
who he is and what he stands for. The king's core values are centered on firm and unchanging principles.
Centered on firm and unchanging principles. Go ahead.
So when a crisis comes, he does not waver because he has already determined the course he will take.
Look, this is men. I'm telling you, this is men right here. Guess what? When stuff happens, us as men, we already know what we're going to do. So, sisters, this is a wake-up call for y'all. We already know what we going to do. And when we say this is what we going to do, and you say, are you sure? There's a reason why he get mad. There's a reason why he get frustrated. Because he's already thought about what to do and the contingencies to get it done. Hush and follow. Show you how it's done. 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 6. Because it's not just us. We ain't the ones that decided, hey, I'm just going to make the decision. Nah, you're dealing with spiritual men. You're dealing with godly men. You're dealing with kings of the earth. That's all. You're dealing with kings of the earth. And this is how we act. This is us coming to fruition on how we act naturally. And now we have a rule book to show us how to do it physically. So we ain't doing it by mistake. We're doing it on purpose now. 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 6.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 6. And Solomon said, Thou hast shown unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth, and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with thee. And thou hast kept for him his great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne as it is this day.
So this is Solomon giving a prayer. He's like, look, you looked after my father. You gave him a son to sit on his throne. Read.
And now, O Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child.
I am but what?
A little child. I know not how to go out or come in.
So that's us as men. A lot of times we get put in leadership positions. It's like, damn, well, what the hell do I do? What I don't want to mess up. Like, damn, I'm only 30-something years old. I'm only 20-something years old. Like, all this weight is on me. Like, what the hell do I do? So this was his prayer. And yes, as men, we think this of ourselves. Like, damn, I don't think that I can do this. But you wasn't put in this position from the Lord for nothing. Read.
Verse 8. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people.
That's what we got to pray for. It's not about your money. I know plenty of dummies with money. It's not about your popularity. I know a lot of cool nobodies. It's not about your influence. I know a lot of influential idiots. And I'm pretty sure y'all do too. It ain't about none of that. It's about how can I take care of my people? Give me the wisdom to take care of my people. That's what's going to help. Read on.
That I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy great judge this so great a people?
So we have to pray for the wisdom to judge correctly. Because we have a great nation. You don't want to misabuse your people. We hear people say all the time, black power and this, that, and the Kram Yasharala, and this. You could talk all that powerful black righteous stuff, but then what about taking care of that powerful black righteous nation? What you gonna do then? You got to know how to do it. That's what Solomon prayed for. That's our forefather. So we need to walk in the same steps as him and pray for the wisdom to know good and evil, judge correctly among our people. Go to Proverbs 21, verse 1.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will.
So just like Saul, if you out the spirit, the Lord will turn your heart to where you do some dumb stuff. If you in the spirit, the Lord will turn your heart to where you successful in everything that you do. That you're going to prosper in everything that you put your hand forward to, because it's not about you. It's about what you are doing for your people, for God's people, because you're a part of the people. You can either be a leader of the people or you could be the bottom of the barrel. You could be Israel, but not of Israel. Go to Proverbs 14 and 17.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 17. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated.
So, one of the things about being decisive, especially in this truth, is not being soon angry. To where you make emotional decisions. You can't make emotional decisions. You have to make decisions that are based on scriptural knowledge. Don't make emotional decisions. That's not the movement of a king. And yes, sometimes we do get emotional. Yes, sometimes we do get angry. But it's up to us to deal with that spirit within ourselves. You understand? Let me get that in Ephesians. Be angry and sin not. Ephesians 4:26. This is why the scriptures was made and it was written for a certain reason. Our forefathers that wrote these scriptures, they had to deal with our people. They know exactly how wicked, evil, hard-headed, and stubborn our people can be. And this is one of the things that they said that we should do. Read.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not.
Yeah, so you can be angry, but don't sin. Read.
Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
Now, a lot of people think that means don't go to bed angry. That's not what it means. It means don't let your wisdom fail while you're upset. Keep a level head even when you're angry. Because God did. We're supposed to be like him, right? Imagine as many times as we piss God off. If he was to be, hell with, I'm going to just go with my anger. We would be the 12 tribes of Moses, not the 12 tribes of Israel. Remember, he said, I'll start over with you, Moses. You understand? Go to Proverbs 1 and 7. This is one of the things that we should be as leaders, because that's what a bishop is. And those of y'all idiots that are out there that are watching and saying, oh, I don't want to be no bishop, so I'm going to have multiple wives and I could do. No. If you out there teaching your people, your actions are showing that you're trying to be a bishop. Read.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
Fools despise wisdom and instruction. I ain't want that, but all praises. Titus 1 and 7. I ain't want that, but all praises. It said fools despise wisdom and instruction. Kings don't do their own will. Not even Christ did his own will. So what the hell makes you think you're going to be able to? He said, I came not to do my own will. Those are the red words written in the New Testament, what Christ said. We can't do our own will. We have to do the will of the Father who sent us as well. Titus 1 and 7.
The book of Titus, chapter 1, verse 7. For a bishop must be blameless as the steward of God, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, nor a striker, not given to filthy lucre.
So, two of the things that I liked that I heard was, or three, is not self-willed, meaning you don't do what you feel like doing. Not soon angry. and blameless. 3 things that we have to be. And blameless don't mean that you never get an accusation. Blameless means when the accusation comes, it doesn't stick because it's not true. Oh, so-and-so did this. Yeah, you can accuse him of that, but he didn't do it. Therefore, he's blameless. Understand that. Proverbs 26:28. This is all part of being decisive as a king. Temperate, wise, judging correctly, and you're centered on the core values of what you stand for, and you're firm and unchanging in your principles. Go ahead.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 26, verse 28. A lying tongue hated those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin.
So, if you lie on your brothers or you lie on your sisters, you hate them. That is not a temperate and decisive role of a king or a sister that's under a king. Go jump over to Proverbs 16:12.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 12. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness.
It's an abomination for kings to commit wickedness. That's why we don't get entangled with the affairs of this life. A lot of the stuff that's in the world is wicked. Hey, cuz, you coming to the block party? No. Hey, you trying to go smoke something? No. Man, they got them 304s going to be at the club. I'm not going to be there. Man, you about to marry your woman? Yes. All you do is stay home with your kids and your wife and stuff? Yes. Damn, bro, you really into that Bible, ain't you? Yes. Firm and unchanging in your principles. I don't care what nobody else think. I got to get the kingdom. I ain't worried about what your emotions is, what your feelings is. Your feelings gonna pass away like gas. You're gonna smell it for a little while, it's gonna be gone. I'm gonna smell your stinking breath from your opinion for a little bit, and it's gonna be gone. Your opinion does not matter. Read it again.
It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness. For the throne is established by righteousness.
The throne is established by righteousness. You're not going to get the throne if you're not doing righteousness. And how is the throne established by righteousness? Because righteousness is laws. You can't have a throne established by emotion. You can't have a throne that's established by a logic of a kid. You got to have a throne that's established by righteousness. And righteousness is only found in this here book. Not the Quran, not the Gilgamesh epics, not the Book of the Dead, not the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, none of that. Not in the contendings of Horus and Set. For y'all Egyptologists that's out there, it ain't in there. Throne ain't established by letters. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Go to Sirach chapter 10, verse 8. The throne is established by righteousness. Why? Because that's how the Lord made it. And this is what happens when a throne is not established by righteousness.
The book of Sirach chapter 10, verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. So,
unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit. That's those lying words. That's those illegal activities. All of that vanity. Read.
The kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Guess what? Babylon was translated from one kingdom to another. Assyria was translated from one king to another. Egypt was translated from one king to another. Persia and Mede was translated from one king to another. Greece was translated from one king to another. Rome was translated from one king to another. France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain, and guess what? The United States of America. Because of what again? Read it.
Because of unrighteous dealings.
And we already know that America's unrighteous in everything that they do. Read.
Injuries.
They have definitely been injurious towards us.
And riches got by deceit.
And they damn sure robbed the wealth of nations, lied to nations, get them in pacts and bonds and all kind of things just to get them on what the United States program is, and then they mess clean over them. This kingdom is going to be translated as well. It's just going to be translated by fire. Ain't nobody else going to live over here. Leviticus 19:15. Then we go into integrity.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment.
So you're not supposed to do any unrighteousness in judgment. That's the unrighteous dealings that we was talking about in Sirach 10. Not supposed to be like that. That's why one of the things that Solomon prayed for was the ability to judge righteously. Because you got to deal with your family and judge them righteously. You got to be patient with your family. You got to be charitable with your family. You got to look after them. You got to instruct them. You got to do the same thing with the body. That's why the scriptures say if you don't know how to take care of the church of God, or if you don't know how to take care of your household, how are you going to take care of the church of God? Because they go hand in hand. Your marriage and the way you deal with the body is one and the same. One and the same. So read it again from the top.
Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment.
We're not supposed to be unrighteous in judgment.
Thou shalt not respect the persons of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty.
So it doesn't matter if a person ain't got that much money. It don't matter if a person got hella money. It don't matter if that person falls on hard times or whether one person never fall on hard times. They always got money. If the one that got money commit wickedness, guess what? It's wicked. If the one that ain't got no money commit wickedness, guess what? It's wicked. Righteousness is righteous and wickedness is wicked. It is what it is. It don't matter what you got. Read.
But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
That's what Solomon asked for, and that's what we got to ask for. In righteousness shall we judge our neighbor. So if you want a certain position, you better be sure that you want to use it to further your nation, to further the body that the Lord has entrusted you to be over. That's what you better make. You better make sure of that. All right, back to the article. So we got past the first two archetypes, which is the king being centered, which comes with confidence, purpose, and well-being. The king being decisive, which means temperate, wise, judges correctly. Decisiveness is centered on core values and what he stands for. All right? What's the next one?
He lives with integrity.
He lives with integrity. Read.
The word integrity is related to the roots of words like integrate and entire. In Spanish, it is rendered integro, meaning whole.
Mm-hmm.
Integrity thus implies the state of being complete, undivided, intact, and unbroken.
Ooh, we. Integrity thus implies being what?
Complete.
Complete.
Undivided.
Undivided, meaning you're not wavering back and forth. Go ahead.
Intact.
You're intact, meaning you ain't falling apart everywhere, huh?
And unbroken.
And unbroken. That's one that's standing firm. That's what men do. That's why women will never understand what goes on in the mind of a man. Because how we deal with things ain't how y'all deal with things. When we go out into the world, it's a whole nother lens that we got to look through. We walking side by side, and yet I'm in more danger than you. Why? Because they see me as the threat. They don't see you as the threat. That's why they can give y'all the jobs. That's why they can make changes for y'all. That's why they can make scholarships for y'all. That's why they could do this whole feminism thing and make y'all think that y'all are special. Meanwhile, y'all got the highest abortion rate, highest STD rate, and the lowest marriage rate. And yet, we're the ones that's constantly put in jail. We're the ones that's constantly getting fired. We're the ones that's constantly looked at as threats. We're the ones that got all of these stigmas against us. And you know how we do it? You know how we play it? How we've always done it. We just move and roll with the punches. That's all we do. We don't complain about it. We let it be known we see it. We don't complain about it because we unbroken. We're intact. Go to Galatians 4. Oh, matter of fact, let's go back to the article. That second paragraph. We want to finish the first. Integrity is really, and then we want to go to the second paragraph.
Yes, sir. Integrity is really the bond that holds a man's other virtues together.
Mm-hmm.
It is the mark of a man who has successfully integrated all good principles. His life is a unified whole.
Ooh-wee. Integrity is when you unify all your other principles. You know what that's called in the scriptures? Virtue. Real quick. I don't think I had it. I didn't. Go to I believe it's 1 Peter. No, 2 Peter 1 and start at 5.
Yes, sir. The book of 2 Peter, chapter 1, verse 5. And besides this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue.
So when we add to our faith virtue. Virtue is high moral standard, also known as integrity. It's a synonym. Integrity. So yeah, the article is right on point because the scriptures tell you the same thing. Read.
And to virtue, knowledge.
So we have faith. We add to that faith high moral standard or integrity. And then we add knowledge to that, which is the laws of God. Read.
And to knowledge, temperance.
Temperance goes into being decisive. Go ahead.
And to temperance, patience.
Patience is part of being centered. Go ahead.
And to patience, godliness.
Godliness goes into being centered. Go ahead.
And to godliness, brotherly kindness.
That goes into integrity and decisiveness. Go ahead.
And to brotherly kindness, charity.
That's all of your virtues that are combined in one. Go ahead.
For if these things be in you and abound, they make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ.
So that's why I said integrity is really the board that holds a man's other virtues together. It is the mark of a man who has successfully integrated all good principles. So you only know if a man has integrity by his actions. You only know if a man has integrity by what you see other things that are in him. You know that he got integrity if you see other things that even you yourself wouldn't normally do. I wouldn't normally be honest like that. Nah, we got to be integrity. We got to have integrity. Go back to the article. The king.
The king has not only integrated all the other archetypes, but seeks the wholeness in other areas of his life as well. He mends broken relationships.
He knows how to apply Matthew 18.
He keeps his word.
He knows how to think before he speaks. And if he's surety for his friend, he knows how to be sure to pay it. Go ahead.
Acts with honesty.
He acts with honesty. Go ahead.
And takes responsibility for his actions.
He knows how to be accountable. The king knows how to be accountable. Go ahead.
He is who he says he is.
How you gonna know if he is who he says he is? By his actions. Go ahead.
He doesn't have one set of principles for Sundays and one for the rest of the week.
He not just a Sabbath day Israelite. How you see him, when you see him, is how he is all the time. Whether he go to South Africa, he's the same way. Whether he go to West Virginia, he's the same way. If he go to LA, he the same way. He go to Miami, he the same way. He go to New Orleans, he the same way. Be careful of them people that got masks on. They got representatives. They one way with you and then a whole nother way when they get somewhere else. That's not integrity. Integrity means you act the same way everywhere you are. He is who he says he is. And you know that by his actions. Galatians 4. Galatians chapter 4. Verse 1 and 2.
The book of Galatians chapter 4, verse 1. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child.
Because we are heirs. Now, I know what this is really going into, but I'm using it for this purpose. We are heirs.
Differeth nothing from a servant.
So, we differ nothing from servants. Meaning, let's say, all right, in the book of Kings, you had a lot of kings that were like 7 years old, 12 years old, very young. You think the whole kingdom will listen to a 7-year-old or a 12-year-old? No. He differeth nothing from a servant. He learned how to be here at the bottom. What do these people have to do in order to help the kingdom run successfully? Then when he's of age, he knows what needs to be done. So he knows how to make sure that the things are done from top to bottom, because he was at the bottom before. Go ahead.
Though he be Lord of all.
So he may be Lord of all. He still knows how to be a servant. Go ahead.
But is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the father.
So whenever the father, the king, sees, all right, my son is ready, before that time, he's under tutors and governors. He's under the counselors of the king to show that young child how to be a king, to show that young child how to be a grown man. Now, this is going into us being under the law of sacrifice and then coming to the knowledge of Christ. But the literal example that they're giving is a young child that's a king, but he needs to be under tutors and governors until he's of age. That's the same thing with us. At a certain age, we're not really looking for you to do certain things. I'm going to just be honest. At a certain age, I'm not looking for you to have a fitted cap. That's just me. At a certain age, I'm not looking for you to talk about turning up at the club. At a certain age, I don't expect the Xbox 360 to come on. At a certain age. Now, if you got kids and you're trying to make something fun for your kids, all right, cool. But at a certain age, you know, if you still one of them old dudes and you got the skinny jeans on, but you sagging, so they tight, but they loose, and you got on the newest J's that cost $250, $275, and you got a chain belt on, and you got a graphic tee, I'm not sure what to tell you. One of them people that, you know, trying to hold on to what was. I don't know what to tell you. After a while, you got to let some things go and be a grown-up. We got bills. We got mortgages. We got lights. You understand? We got responsibilities. We got money that we got to make last throughout the month. After a certain amount of time, you shouldn't be selling no drugs. You shouldn't be selling drugs, period. But I'm just saying, if that was your course of action when you were younger, as you get older, you know you got to leave that stuff alone, right? That's carnally what I'm talking. Spiritually, you shouldn't be doing it at all. You need to be applying God's laws, statutes, and commandments from jump. Learn a trade. Learn something that's going to help your nation. Not be a capitalist in your mind and think that, oh, I just need to make money for myself. Nah. Go to Sirach 25:3. So you're under tutors and governors in order to learn what to do and what not to do. That's why we're under the guidance of our leaders, so that they can teach us what to do, what not to do, how to handle this situation, how not to handle this situation. And we are held accountable. And part of being a king is you like being held accountable. You don't get frustrated when you're held accountable. Read.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 3. If thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth, how canst thou find anything in thine age?
And that's really one of the things that inspired me to do this class, because I know a lot of brothers didn't grow up with no daddy. You ain't grow up knowing how to be no man. You grew up knowing how to be a Negro, an African American. That's what you grew up learning how to be. But now it's time for us to learn how to be men. Now it's time for us to learn how to put 2 feet on the ground, tighten your belt, and go out there and get it. Now is that time. Now it's time to remember what we're supposed to be at as Israelites. Read.
Oh, how comely a thing is judgment of gray hairs, and for ancient men to know counsel.
It's a wonderful thing for judgment. It's a wonderful thing for counsel. Older men love when you come to them for counsel. They get to impart on you the years of wisdom and experience that they've gone through to try to hopefully stop you from going through what they went through, make your life easier. It's a pleasure for an older man to look at you and say, damn, I told him to do this, and he did it. He followed my counsel. All praises. He's not going to go through this, and this because he followed the counsel. All praises. They like to see that. Read on.
Verse 5. Oh, how comely is the wisdom of old men, and understanding of and counsel to men of honor.
It's a wonderful thing, the wisdom of old men. Because they could sit there and they could tell you, hey, don't do this, I wouldn't do it. Those of y'all who have watched any of Bishop Kanai's classes, when he tells the story about him accepting a job on the Sabbath, they got brothers that still come, hey, Cap, you know, this job that I got, they say I got to work the Sabbath. What you think? What you think? You already heard what our elders said. They already led by example. I can tell you what I do, what I have done. I'm not accepting no job if I got to work on the Sabbath. It is what it. That's my faith, though. But I found out my leaders did the same thing. Hey, we got the same level of faith. The Lord will provide. This said the hand of the kings, the heart of the kings in the hand of the Lord. Come on now, you don't think that the Lord is powerful enough to make a mere man do right by us? Where your faith at? Where is your faith at? Read on.
Much experience is the crown of old men, and the fear of God is in their glory.
Much experience is the crown of old men. And ain't nothing wrong with listening to the men that came before you. I always get counsel or guidance from men that have been married longer than me. Counsel and guidance from men in this truth that have been around longer than me. They know these scriptures better than me. I want that. I crave that. I crave to be around the elders. Y'all that crave to be around each other, well, if it works out for you. But when situations happen, that's why the article said, let me see. Nah, that's not it. Oh yeah. It was back in decisiveness. Says when a crisis comes, he does not waver because he has already determined the course he will take. So when a crisis does come, you're not worried about the course of action, even if you've never dealt with that crisis before. You're not going to worry about the course of action to take because you're going to get counsel. They've already taken that course of action. They can tell you, I did that before. Never again. Do this. Make sure you do this. Make sure this happens, and you'll be straight. I'd much rather do that. I'd much rather do that. Go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1 and 2.
The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand.
Don't be troubled. Don't be troubled. Don't think that the day of Christ is at hand yet, but it's coming. It's coming. Don't be soon shaken. That's what we got to do. We got to not be broken up. We got to remain intact. Because they got some people that think that the day of Christ already came. Literally, they got a guy on the internet that says Christ already came. He went to Africa or some craziness like that. Yeah, well, why did he not destroy our enemies if he came already? Because the Bible says he's supposed to destroy our enemies. I didn't see no enemies be destroyed yet. So what happened? Got to watch out for these idiots, I'm telling you. Revelation 2:25.
The book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 25. But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come.
Hold fast with the knowledge from this Bible that we have. Hold that fast till Christ comes. Read.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
If we want that, all we got to do is keep the works of Christ. And he gave them to us right here in this Bible. Whether people believe or whether they don't, those that do believe, we know that we already got the cheat code to get the kingdom. We already got the book. We got the how-to manual to get the kingdom. How do you get it? Follow what this Bible says. Sounds easy enough, don't it? People make it hard. Revelation 3:11.
The book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 11. Behold, I come quickly.
Revelations 3 and 11.
Yes, sir. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown.
Because when you start thinking outside of that mentality of a king, your crown gets taken. You can allow a man to take your crown by following your family members out into the world, by following your friends out of this truth, by following other doctrines that your leaders didn't teach, by following your lusts. You can get your crown taken. The thing is, not like what Bishop Kanai says, your name is already written in the book. You have to physically do work to get your name blotted out. Your name is there. That's like when the teacher said in school, all right, this is the start of the 9 weeks. Everybody here has an A. You just got to work to keep it. You got an A already. You just got to work to keep the A. Pass each test. Do extra credit if you need to. You understand? Read on.
Verse 12. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God.
Notice how each scripture says, hold fast what you have, and then there's a reward after that that's stated. Hold fast till you come. I'm going to make you rule over the nations. Hold fast till you come. I'm going to make you a pillar in the temple of my God. Meaning that if we hold fast what we have, there's a reward. I want the reward. I've seen enough punishment. I want the reward. Read on.
And he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my God.
Yep.
And the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God. And I will write upon him my new name.
So we're going to get the real name of the Father, and we're going to get the real name of Christ. Because all we have right now is titles. For those of y'all who think that you got the name already from a Yiddish Hebrew that was already made up by a man. Ephesians 4:14. Ephesians 4:14. So remember, it says that part of having that integrity is you're undivided, unbroken, and intact. Let's go to that undivided part. Ephesians 4:14.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 14. That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive.
Men don't care about other doctrines, especially if them doctrines going against the word of God. Men, kings, have affirmed, if you have to make decisions in righteousness, don't you think you have to make decisions when it comes to you listening to people tell you things out of this Bible? Oh, the Bible say come as you are, brother. Really? I never saw that scripture before, but I'm going to believe it. The Bible say that you know, the Lord is ever changing, and I ain't never heard that. I thought the Bible said that the Lord changed not. I'm going to believe that, because I got a lust inside of me that I want him to change himself for. Not that I got to change me. I want God to change so that I can remain myself. That's how people think. Read on.
Verse 15. But speaking in the truth, love, and may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ.
So, speaking the truth in love, we speak the commandments. That's what we speak. We speak the word of God. The scripture in 1 Peter 4:11 said, if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God. We got to speak God's word. That's why we got to teach. For those of y'all who don't want no rank, for those of y'all that I'm not worried about being a part of no camp. Okay, a dispensation of the gospel is going to get given to you. You got to teach. That's what you was called here for. This ain't no Christian church. You want the Christian church, then go to it. We are men of action here. In case you haven't noticed, each archetype was an action. Being centered is an action. Being decisive is an action. Having integrity is an action. You only know if somebody has integrity by their actions. We got to understand that this is for real. This is an action-based movement. 1 Samuel 2 and 3. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 3.
The book of 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 3. Talk no more exceeding proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed.
God is a God of actions. Everything that you do is actions. So how can you say, all right, I'm an Israelite, but I don't really care about all the rank. I just want to do the work. How you gonna do the work without the rank? The rank is there for order and structure purposes, improves your level of trust. How the hell can you get trusted and you ain't got nothing? But you can get level 1 at your job, level 2 at your job. You can get apprenticeship at your job. You can get a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a PhD. You got all these ranks though that you care about in the world. But when it comes to God, I don't need no rank. The hell kind of stuff is that? What kind of stuff is that? There's rank everywhere in the world. Oh, I'm gonna go be a truck driver. Okay, you got a CDL Class A, you got a CDL Class B, you got a CDL Class C, you got a chauffeur's license. That's rank. In driver's license, in that realm, everything got rank. Everything got rank. Oh, I'm gonna play sports. First string, second string, third string, starter, rank. All of that is rank. If you're a starter, you're trusted to go first. If you are a master mechanic, you're trusted to handle the job with no supervision. If you're an apprentice, I know I need to send somebody with you. If you don't have no certification, why the hell would I hire you as a mechanic? Why would I hire you as a plumber? Why would I hire you as a carpenter? What is your level of proficiency that I can see? 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. You're judged on actions. You're judged on actions. And this is how we separate ourselves from everyone else, because of this scripture right here.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 10. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you.
He says, speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you. Remember, part of integrity was undivided. So in order for us to be a nation of men with integrity, we all got to speak the same thing. That's why we always put in the front of our classes, we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. I saw a TikTok video of a girl today talking about people coming on her page and in her comments about the dogma of religion and the Bible, because she was raised in Christianity. She was a pastor's child. She spent 4 years as a Hebrew Israelite, so she know the Bible more than everybody thinks she do, because she up here with hers. That's a lot of y'all BHI fault. Y'all be doing all of this stuff, talking all this crap, and instead of building the people up, you give them a bad taste in their mouth about Hebrew Israelites. When they say those words, Hebrew Israelites, that's how I know they was part of some BS. Part of some individualites that was eating matzah crackers at their house, watching other Israelite camps. 17 different classes going on the Sabbath, and you don't know what to believe. So you think everybody else doing the same thing. I'm telling you, we got to watch that. We all got to speak the same thing. We all got to have no divisions among us. Be undivided. Romans 12:16. Yes, sir. Even the damn United States of America say that in their Pledge of Allegiance. One nation, indivisible. They don't want divisions, even though scripturally, I mean, they're going to be divided anyway, because that's what the prophecy is. But we're not supposed to be divided. We're supposed to have one mind. Read that, Romans 12:16.
The book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 16. Be of the same mind, one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate.
Said, mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Meaning, get on people's level. Don't think that you all the way up here to where you can't talk to nobody down here. Because it's the people down here that's keeping the body going. You up there leading. Who you going to lead if you ain't got no follower? You got to be of the same mind. Build people up. This ain't no job security type thing. I want the other brothers to be 20s and 50s, 70s, 80s, 90s captains. I want brothers to do it. You want to know why? Because it's time to share the work. That's what Cap Shim told me. He's like, I'm glad. Shit, I need somebody to help share this work. Because that's when men are busy, that's what men say. Men that are idle look for ways to keep everybody down so they can stay on top. Because you ain't doing nothing. You're not doing anything. You have zero integrity. You ain't doing nothing. All you doing is being there. Enjoying getting your plate first. You're going to mess around and turn into egg line. Go back to the article.
He protects his realm.
Ooh, that's the part of a king that a lot of people ain't ready for. The protection part. He protects his realm. Read.
Historically, one of the king's primary functions was to protect his dominion. When enemy forces encroached on his territory, a king would act with wrathful aggressiveness.
A king would act with wrathful aggressiveness. You want to know why? Because we're protective of what's ours. That's why a lot of y'all, when you speak against a man's family, he going to react a certain way. When you speak against our nation, you may see us react a certain way. That's those people that hit you, and then when they get hit back, they go blame it everybody. Oh, look, see look what he did. See how he hit me? Nah. We match energy. That's what he said. That's what the article said. We gonna match energy. Read on.
Even today, we look to our leaders as protectors.
That's what we are. As kings of the nation of Israel, we are the protectors of that nation. Read.
The President of the United States is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, charged with the responsibility of protecting our nation's security.
Hey, that's how you know Babylon falling, because that commander-in-chief, goodness gracious. Read on.
While a man might not be a leader of a country, he certainly has his own realm he's responsible for protecting.
Uh-huh.
Whether the protection be physical.
So we have to protect the physical. Go ahead.
Mental.
We have to protect the mental.
Emotional.
The emotional.
Or spiritual.
And spiritual aspects of our nation. Go ahead.
If you're married with children, your home is a realm, a place you want to make a refuge from negative influences.
I need you to read that sentence one more again.
If you're married.
If you're married, so these are kings that have wives. And sidebar, you're only a queen if you're married to a king. That's how you become queen. You become queen by marrying a king. A king becomes king because it's passed on to him. Queendom is not passed on to you. You got to be married. But I digress. Read that part again.
If you're married with children, your home is a realm, a place you want to make a refuge from negative influences.
That's why you sisters got to be the Proverbs 31 woman. The home is a place of refuge from negative influences, not a place for negative influences. You understand? Kings need peace because we deal with negativity every day. Read.
The department you're responsible for at work is another sphere where you work to protect your employees from infighting, mediocrity, and layoffs.
So, being that our office, place of employment, where we work, is this Bible, this truth, we do protect our fellow employees, people under us, from infighting, which means we teach you how to apply Matthew 18. We teach you conflict resolution. We teach you how to deal with disagreements that are in the body. Mediocrity. That's why we don't accept nothing other than greatness. Captain Shem says it all the time. Why would I accept mediocrity from the greatest nation on earth? That's a king's mindset. Read. And layoffs. Meaning, job security. We gonna make sure that you have the tools that you need to level up. That way you don't get laid off. A layoff in this truth is you become stagnant, you don't grow, and eventually you fall out. And you be one of them brothers talking about, I don't like camps and I don't like rank. All right, now, scripturally. Let me see, was that all? Yes, go to Sirach 30 and 15.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth.
So, in order to protect, you got to be healthy. You have to be physically healthy. I ain't never seen no fat person be able to protect their family for a duration of time. You may be able to do it with that first little quick burst of energy, but let the threat be moving. Your family in trouble. Your family is in trouble. Then you ain't got no weapons. All you got is your hands. Your family is in trouble. That's why we have to be healthy to defend ourselves as well as our family and our nation. Captain Shem did the video this past Sabbath. I hope y'all watch it over and over. That was verse 15 and 16?
That was 15, sir.
Read 16.
Verse 16. There is no riches above a sound body.
You can have all the money in the world, and if your body is not healthy, you're going to spend all that money at the doctor's office. Read.
And no joy above the joy of the heart.
No joy above the joy of the heart. When you're glad, you're happy. That's why back in the day, we used to be happier as a people. We didn't have much, but we also didn't have a lot of obesity, and we were happier. That's why we called each other blood, and that mean blood brother. What's going on, brother? That's what that whole era of happiness and camaraderie, all of that stuff, the 30s, the 40s, all of that stuff was there for a reason. We had a different mentality. And it's because we had good estate of health for the most part. Sirach 31:19.
The book of Sirach, chapter 31, verse 19. A very little is sufficient for a man well nurtured, and he fetcheth not his wind short upon his bed.
He fetcheth not his wind short upon his bed. Why? Because he eats little. If you're well nurtured, you eat a little. You don't need to eat a lot. Some of y'all are overly nurtured. You eat a lot. You hate to eat a little. That's why you got bad gas and sickness all the time. Every time you turn around, you sick. Every time, bruh. I can't go to camp, I'm sick. I can't go here, I'm sick. I got to stay home, I'm sick. You eat a lot of damn germs. That's what's going on. Go to Sirach 30 and 21.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
Because you got to protect yourself emotionally. You got to protect yourself emotionally. We dealt with the physical part, not the mental part, and the emotional part. You got to deal with yourself emotionally. Don't give yourself over to heaviness. Read.
The gladness of the heart is the life of a man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days.
I think I read an article years ago. It was like laughing adds 15 minutes to your life or something like that. But there's a reason why people that are happy, like that movie with Robin Williams, Happy Gilmore. That wasn't Happy Gilmore. That was Adam Sandler. He was the doctor that was going around making the cancer patients all happy and stuff. The movie I'm talking about. And it was having a positive effect on all of the patients there. And as soon as that's why a lot of people, when they get sick, they only really get worse when they find out that they are sick. Before they find out that they're sick, they living regular. Then they find out that they're sick, and it's like the cancer gets aggressive or the sickness gets aggressive. Like, damn, what the hell happened? Because they had knowledge of it. Your brain is more powerful than you think. Scripture say, as a man thinketh, so is he. Read on.
Love thine own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein.
That's why a lot of times as men, we got to see the issue. If you can change it, change it. If you can't change it, sometimes you got to let the Lord do what he do with it. We ain't going to be able to fix everything. I know that's our type. That's our archetype, to fix everything, protect everything. But sometimes you're not going to be able to do it. Sometimes you're not going to be able to Patch Adams. That was the name of the movie. You're not going to be able to solve every problem. And the ones that you can't solve, do your best and let the Lord deal with the rest. Mark chapter 7, verse 21. Still talking about that mental state.
The book of Mark, chapter 7, verse 21. For from within
your head,
out of the heart of men,
the heart is your mind,
proceed evil thoughts.
That's how we know it's your mind, because this doesn't think. This organ beating blood through your arteries and veins, that doesn't think. This thinks. This is your heart. This right here, your heart and your mind, is the same thing. It said from within, out of here, proceed evil thoughts. Meaning it's already in us to think evil, to be evil. So we have to work in order to not think that way. In order to not think that way, we got to be grounded in these scriptures. That's the only way. A degree is not going to help you to think better about yourself. There's plenty of black women with degrees that cry every day to a therapist. Don't do it to yourself. Get Proverbs 31:1. And I like that the protector archetype went into marriage. That's what I like.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 1. Mm-hmm. The words of the king Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him.
Yep, go ahead.
What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows? Mm-hmm. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
Don't give your ways to women. Don't do it. His mama told him that. His mama know how women can be. His mama knew that. He said, nah, man, don't give yourself to that. Don't allow a woman to rule over you. Don't allow a woman to rule over you, brothers. I'm telling you. That's just counsel. If you in your simpage era, well, see how far that gets you, buddy. Read on.
It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink.
Now, they got a lot of people that try to use that, but this is the actual meaning of it. Read the next part.
Lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted.
That's why kings shouldn't drink. because kings got to often give judgment. It also says that wine maketh the heart merry. Use a little wine for your stomach's sake. All of these other scriptures. So drinking is allowed in the scriptures. Being drunk is not allowed for you potheads out there. As soon as you think of drink, you're drunk. Why you can't just have one sip, one glass? What you got to get drunk for? What you trying to escape from? That's all it is. When you get drunk, you get high, you're trying to escape from something. That's not what kings do. You can't protect nothing if you got couch lock. You stuck because you done smoked something and you just stuck daydreaming and you high as hell. That's not what happens. Can't protect nobody doing that. Titus 2:6.
Yes, sir. The book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 6. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded.
Exhort to be sober-minded. You got to be sober. Here's why.
Yeah, you want 1 Peter.
1 Peter 5
Yes,
and 8.
sir.
I always get them scriptures mixed up.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 8.
Yeah, that's the one.
Be sober, be vigilant.
Why do you have to be sober? So that you can be vigilant. Why? Read.
Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
That's why you got to be sober. Because Satan walks about seeking whom he may devour. You could be high as hell on Tuesday, and by Wednesday, you done fell off into all kind of wickedness. You don't even believe we need to keep the laws anymore. We not Israelites. We indigenous aboriginals. We got to speak the Hebrew. We need to walk around with a staff. We got to have a head covering. You to fell all the way down the rabbit hole. And I've seen it happen to brothers. Next thing you know, you doing sports on the Sabbath, making your living off of gambling. Sirach 36:24. This goes into the marriage part.
The book of Sirach, chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest.
Read.
Where no hedge is, there the possession is spoiled.
So he that getteth the wife beginneth a possession. Where no hedge is, the possession is spoiled. So if that man is not applying the laws of God in his house, that possession will be spoiled because that man will not be protected mentally and spiritually. Therefore, his family won't be protected mentally and spiritually. Go ahead.
And he that had no wife will wander up and down mourning.
We have to make sure that our single brothers are not idle. Our single kings are not idle. Because you only going to start thinking with another head once you become idle. You are not going to remain that same faithful, strong in the Lord brother. Eventually, you're going to be mourning. You're going to be burning, and then you're going to fall off into some wickedness. The next thing you know, you're going to be soliciting prostitutes, end up with HIV, end up with some sort of bug you can't get rid of, and that's going to be your lot. Then you probably ain't going to never be able to get married because who's going to want a man with a disease like that? Better watch it, brothers. Watch it. 1 Peter 5 and 2.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 2.
I'm going to have to skip some of these scriptures. Go ahead.
Feed the flock of God, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind.
So we got to feed the flock. That's part of protecting them. because we're giving them the tools that they need to protect themselves. When you feed the flock, especially teaching them these scriptures, you teach them how to recognize the wiles of the devil. You teach them how to recognize that man or that woman is going to come running game on them and try to get them in the bedroom or try to finesse them out their money. Because that's all this world is a bunch of people trying to finesse people to buy lunch for them and pay their rent and get shoes and handbags for them. That's what we do. That's what we do. Think about it. You finesse somebody to buy you lunch. Okay, now what? Now you need dinner. Or now you need breakfast for the next morning. Now you need lunch for the next morning. The next day. You got to finesse somebody else to do that. That's how you going to live your life? Finessing, just getting over. That's the life of a bum. But I digress. I got a class for that too. First Maccabees 3:43.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 43. They said one to another, let us restore the decayed state of our people.
We got to restore the decayed estate of our people. Read.
And let us fight for our people and the sanctuary.
That's what we got to do. In order to restore the decayed estate of our people, we got to fight for our people and the sanctuary. Sanctuary is the body of Christ now. That's what we got to fight for. Meaning we got to fight the mental and spiritual attacks that come from Satan. That's why if we not girded up, they won't be protected. We need to be girded up as leaders, as kings.
Right.
You understand? All right, go back to the article.
He provides order.
He provides, or a king provides order. So those of y'all talking about, yeah, I'm a king, I'm a god. You need to be providing order. Can't be no God without order. A God without order is the devil. Read.
Throughout history, kings have been lawgivers. The first, and perhaps the most famous of these kings/lawgivers, was the ancient Babylonian king, Hammurabi.
Hammurabi. Yeah. The most popular and perhaps most famous king of these lawgivers is Jesus the Christ. No matter what they talking about. I know a lot of people that don't know who the hell Hammurabi is, but everybody know who Jesus Christ is. Whether they believe in church or don't, whether they atheists or whether they hardcore Christians, whether they Muslims or whether they Buddhists, all of them know who Christ is. They've heard of him. They may have the messed up image and gospel from him, but the name, Jesus the Christ, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, they've heard of that. Read on.
His code represents one of history's first written set of laws.
Yeah. Go down to completely integrate.
To completely integrate the king archetype into our lives, it isn't enough to tell others how they should live. A man must also live by those same edicts himself.
So it's not about just telling people what to do. You got to be living it as well. You got to be living that king archetype as well. You provide order, you got to be living a life of order. That's what we got to do. We got to be the lawgiver, and we got to live that life of order. Sirach 10:1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people.
A wise judge will establish order. Go ahead.
And the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
The government of a prudent man is well ordered, meaning he's going to have set things in order, from the most important to the least. from the things you can see to the things you can't. Everything is going to be set in order. And it's going to be looked at as order because he's going to make sure of it. He himself is going to be that example of what the order is. He's not going to ask you to do something that he himself didn't already do. Read on.
As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers.
So, if you got a fat person as your leader, it's only a matter of time before you're fat. If you got a lazy person as your leader, it's only a matter of time before you're lazy. If you got a person that is soft and unwilling to address the sins of the people on the street, you'll never do it either. But when you got one of them leaders that's a fire starter, they motivate you to be a fire starter. When you got a leader that's about these scriptures, they motivate you to be about these scriptures. When you got a leader that's ready to go, ready to take charge, you're willing to follow in those footsteps because you see what they're doing. And you're like, man, I want to be like them. Likewise, somebody's going to look at you the same exact way. I want to be like them. I want to lead like that. That's what we got to do. That's what we have to remember. Go to 1 Peter 4:1.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 4, verse 1. For as much then as Christ has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind.
Arm yourselves likewise with the same mind, because Christ is our leader. The things that Christ did, we're going to have to do. He's already done them. So he can tell us what to do because he did it already. Read.
For he that has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, that he no longer should live in the rest of his time in the flesh, the lust of men, but to the will of God.
And that's what Christ did. He came in the flesh and submitted himself to the will of God. We're in the flesh. We got to submit ourselves to the will of God. Isaiah 30:20.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore. But thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
How are we going to get seen? Because we're going to get set in order. Said, your eyes going to see your teachers. Where? On the street. Read.
And thine eyes shall hear a word behind thee.
That's how we know it's going to be on the street. You can't be in your house and you hear a word behind you. You're in your house. You're going to be walking down the street and brother's going to be on the corner. You're going to hear a word behind you. What they going to say?
Saying, this is the way. Walk ye in it.
Hey, man, we got to walk this way. Hey, man, we got to do this. Man, we got to stop doing that. What you mean? I stopped doing it. So you need to stop doing it because the Bible says it. Now, do you going to believe what the Bible say or what? That's when it's going to be real or fake. That's when you're going to get called out on your stuff too. They have had brothers that was right there with us at camp and they got called out. Trying to mess with a woman the night before, and that same woman come up to you at camp. What we tell people to do, we gotta already be doing it. Proverbs 8:4.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 4. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men.
God called the men. Why? Because the men are the leaders. Look at yourself as such, and you can't be no good leader without first being a good follower. And those of y'all who make yourselves underlings to novices, y'all came in the truth together, but you listening to every word he say. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, that's some stuff that a woman do. You're called to be a king, not some man's woman. Go on to the article. He creates
and inspires creativity in others.
Ah, that's the job of a king. Second paragraph.
But we don't have to father an entire football team in order to access the king archetype. Whenever we take part in any act of creation, whether it be writing a song, starting a business, or yes, becoming a dad, the king archetype is manifesting itself in our lives.
Yep, he creates and inspires. We create teams, we create music, we create businesses, we create children, we create families, we create order. Go ahead.
To fully integrate the king in our lives, however, we must inspire creativities in others as well. A man who is accessing the king archetype understands that his power and influence in the world increases as he empowers others to live to their fullest potential.
That's the way to be an influencer. You influence people to do the right thing, not influence people to do whatever the world says to do. You influence people to go against that. You influence people to follow Christ. You influence people to follow the prophets of old, the righteous daughters of Sarah in the Bible, our foremothers, our forefathers. That's who you inspire them to be. That's who you influence them to be like. First Maccabees 3:16.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 16. And when he came near to the going up of Beth-horon, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company, who, when they saw that host coming to meet him, said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against the great multitude and is so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day?
Man, how we gonna get through this, man? We've been fasting all day. They got a lot more than us. What we supposed to do? We going on a blitz. It's only 100 us. It's 1,000 of them. What we gonna do? Read.
Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few.
That's the faith and that's the inspiration that we got to draw from. We got to inspire people. Look, it is nothing for the Lord to shut up many in the hands of a few. That's why he always dealt with just a few. We ain't need no big numbers. We got the power of God behind us. Read.
And with the God of heaven, it is all one to deliver with a great multitude or a small company.
It's all the same. Whether we got 10,000 or whether we got 10, the result is going to be the same. We going to get the victory because we got the power of God behind us. Read.
For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven.
It don't matter how many it is we are. It don't matter how many it is they are. The strength of the battle comes from heaven. The strength of the battle comes from the Father. The strength of the battle comes from Christ. The strength of the battle does not come from us. It comes from heaven. And we got to realize and understand that. Read.
They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us and our wives and children and to spoil us.
That's who they're coming after. But that's who we got to protect. Read.
But we fight for our lives and our laws.
That's what we got to fight for. Our lives and our laws. Read.
Wherefore, the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face.
God is going to overthrow all of our enemies. That's why he said, be still and know that I am God. We ain't got to do much. We just got to keep the commandments. And then he going to destroy our enemies. Then he's going to give us power to finish the job. Read.
And as for you, be ye not afraid of them.
Now,
as soon as he had left off speaking, he leaped suddenly upon them.
Soon as he said those words, he went straight into the battle. Go ahead.
And so Sihon and his host was overthrown before him.
Read.
And they pursued them from going down to Beth-horon unto the plain, where slain about 800 of men of them. And the residue fled into the land of the Philistines.
So we smashed on them and sent the rest running home. Read.
Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren, and an exceeding great dread to fall upon the nations round about them.
You see what the confidence and the inspiration of God will do? Once you have it behind you and you actually believe it, everybody's going to be afraid of you because you're willing to put your life on the line because you already know that heaven is behind you. The host of heaven is behind you. Psalms 34:7 is behind you. The angels of the Lord are encamping about you. It don't matter how many people it is. You need more. It's only 10 of us. They need more. It's 1,000 of them. They ain't got enough. That's what we got to understand. But you won't feel like that if you're inside and you ain't in the work. I don't want no rank. All right, then you won't be a part of the ranks then. You won't be on the front line. You don't get trusted, you ain't got no stripes, go on about your business. Stripes mean you've been proven. Even in the street, they knew that. I ain't about to get with nobody, dude. They ain't even earned his stripes yet. You understand? We do that on a carnal level. But all of a sudden on the spiritual level, now we too good for it. Man, miss me with that. Exodus chapter 31, verse 1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 31, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, See, I have called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. And I have filled him with the Spirit of God, in wisdom and in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship, to devise cunning works, to works in gold, and in silver, and in brass.
So God put the spirit of creativity. Remember, one of the king archetypes is creativity. Inspiration and creativity. He was creative. Bezalel was creative. Like Bishop, he started watch and read. He's an artist. That's creativity on another level. And shout out to the brothers and the sisters that's part of the watch and read team. They took it all the way high because through his creativity, it inspired other people to be creative and push their creativity to another level with the Spirit of the Lord behind them. Imagine that. That's like music. Music was one way in Israel. Now, music is on a level of professionals now because the Spirit of the Lord is behind those brothers and sisters. The creative aspect, even in the clothing that we wear now. It was just graphic tees. Now brothers is coming up with sweatsuits and female sweatsuits and female windbreaker suits and all of that stuff with the dresses to go with it, the skirts to go with it. That stuff is fire. All of that stuff is creativity. All of that is part of being in the king archetype. Creativity and inspiration. Go to Romans 12, verse 4. We have to know the gifts of the people. Therefore, we can use the creativity in its proper capacity. Read.
The book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 4. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we, being many, are one body in Christ, and every one members one of another.
Read.
Having 10 gifts, differing according to the grace that is given to us.
We have gifts differing according to the grace that's given to us. Some people is off the chain when it comes to physical artworks, drawing. Some people is off the chain when it comes to music. Some people is off the chain when it comes to creating, like Captain Gedaliah, come up with the youth violence rally. That's creative. That's creativity on another level. To be able to push the truth out there like that. The brothers and the sisters that come up with the logos for every radio show that IUIC has. The graphics team, the AI, all of that stuff that helps Bishop in his classes. That stuff is creativity on another level. Read.
Whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith. Or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching.
And we have to wait on those ministries. You can only be trusted in those ministries if, one, you have rank, and two, you have works. Some people, they don't really have a lot of rank, but they got enough to get put on teams. And then from there, we got the stewardship program, where they have their own ranking structure in the stewardship program. You understand? So we need all of these things. All of this stuff is part of setting order. And if you're outside of wanting to set up order, then you're a jester and not a king. Let's see. Philippians 2 and 4.
The book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 4. Look not every man on his own things.
Don't look on your own things, read.
But every man also on the things of others.
That's how you create and inspire people. By looking upon their needs. That way you can inspire somebody else to be creative enough to help that brother or that sister. We need money. Hey, we can either do a call to arms or we can do a fundraiser. Now we raised up money for the person that needed and raised up money for the school as well. Creative mindsets. We need creativity in the nation. They're creative enough to come against us with certain sins. They have created an algorithm on all social media to where you don't even have to look up nothing that's out of order. It's gonna pop up. No matter what avenue you use, if you scroll long enough, it's gonna pop up. From everything that we use. That's why we gotta be grounded in this truth. It's easy to get lost in the affairs of this world. Read on.
Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus.
Let that mind, caring for the things of others, be in you, because that was in Christ. Go back to the article.
He blesses the lives of others.
He blesses the lives of others. Go to the first paragraph.
One of the functions of ancient kings was to bless those whom they led. As intermediaries between the gods and the earth, the king had the power to bless his people so that they might prosper. In the Bible, we can read several accounts of the great patriarchs leaving a father's blessing on their posterity before dying.
Ain't it somehow they bought the Bible up now? But they won't bring up Hammurabi when it comes to order. Like, you bring up Hammurabi, the Hammurabi code, but now when it comes to blessing, you bring up the Bible character. You bring up our forefathers. Like, Hammurabi didn't get his thought process from us. Everybody got their thought process from us. But I digress. Read on.
We often associate blessings with a religious act. While a man certainly accesses the king archetype by giving a father's blessing to his children, just like Jacob and Isaac did, he can also bless others around him in other ways that aren't necessarily religious.
So I want to focus on that part that said the father's blessings to the children, just like Jacob and Isaac did. Because Isaac blessed Jacob. Jacob blessed his 12 sons. Notice they didn't bring up Esau. Notice they didn't bring up Ishmael. So the archetype of kings ain't centered around Christianity's thought process of John 3:16. I don't see Galatians 3:28 in the blessings part right here. They ain't saying all nations could be saved. They said, no, in the Bible, this one man blessed that one man. That one man blessed his children. So somebody knows something. Read.
Simply recognizing and honoring others for their achievements is a way we can bless others. As we get older, I think we take for granted the power that a kind word can have on a young person's life. But think back on your own experience. Remember when you were a young man. How did you feel when an older person, especially a man you admired, gave you a compliment or went out of his way to recognize an achievement?
So that's how we are in this truth. We want to have our elders' acceptance. We want to please our elders. We want them to look at us like, damn, that brother in the spirit, that make you feel good. So being recognized for your good works is something that you want as a man. We often don't get that as black men, but still in all, in this truth, that's what we changing. That's why brothers get promoted. That's why brothers get certificates. That's why, we got the 300-man program to put brothers through a rigorous process, and then they come out on the other side better men. And they get recognition in front of the entire nation. You got brothers that finish the Men of Valor program, and they get promoted in front of the entire nation. That's a good thing. Get Psalms 75, verse 6 and 7.
The book of Psalms, chapter 75, verse 6.
Uh-huh.
For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west.
Promotion doesn't come from east or west.
Nor from the south.
Uh-huh.
But God is the judge. He put it down one and set it up another.
When it says God is the judge, God puts the spirit on men to say, hey, put this brother in that position. Promote that brother. Or spirit may be on the leaders to be like, demote that brother. He don't deserve his position. Demote that brother. He is not doing right in his position. Don't give that brother no rank because he don't do nothing. Which goes back to being decisive, protecting the body, all of that. You can't put a man that does nothing in front of things that you got going. The work gonna turn to crap. You have a do-nothing brother be in charge of something that's being done. Which thing gonna happen to it? It's gonna turn to nothing. It's gonna turn to his work, which is nothing. Go to 1 Corinthians 12:23.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 23. And those members of the body which we think to be less honorable.
So they got people like the brothers who wash they clean the bathrooms, the sisters that watch the babies, the sisters and the brothers that's in the kitchen, the brothers and sisters that's on security. The ones that we just walk past. We don't think of nothing. We just worried about watching the class. They worried about watching us. They can't even, most of the time, they can't even watch class. They got to watch us. Read.
Upon these we bestow more abundant honor.
Upon those we bestow more abundant honor because they feed you, they protect you, They watch your kids. They educate them. They do things to help the body out that you may not see as honorable as other positions. Go ahead.
And our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness.
Our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness. Like if you never took a number 2, you die. So you need to take a number 2 on a regular basis in order for you to stay healthy. That's an uncomely part, but it's very necessary. It's an uncomely part sometimes being in certain offices, but they're very necessary. Without them, the school wouldn't open. So we put more abundant honor on those individuals because they do a lot. You just don't look at it as it. Get 1 Timothy 5:7. Verse 17.
Yes, sir. Verse 17. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor.
So the elders that rule well, meaning their actions show that they're ruling well, are counted for double honor. Why? Because they got to deal with the stress of setting things in order. They got to deal with the stress of the decision-making process. They got to deal with the stress of blessing or judging people. They got to deal with the stress of inspiring and helping the creativity. They got to deal with the stress of providing order. They got to deal with the stress of having integrity. They themselves have to be the example, even when all of the odds are stacked up against them. And they rule well, they deserve double honors. Read.
Especially they who labor in the word and doctrine.
Especially they who are doing the work. You get double honor when you're doing the work. If you ain't doing the work, you ain't getting no honor. You can honor yourself, but ultimately you ain't getting no honor among those that have honor because you're not doing anything. All right, we almost done. Go to the article. The last part, he leaves.
He leaves a legacy. Kings throughout history were obsessed with legacy. In creating empires, building edifices, writing laws, and changing the culture, they sought to become immortal and to leave behind something that would remind subsequent generations of their lives and their greatness.
That's why we got the Bible, because our forefathers left something behind to show their greatness. Real quick, give me that in Sirach. Let us praise great men. I think it's 44. Yep, 44:1.
Yes, sir. The book of Sirach, chapter 44, verse 1. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord had wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding, and declaring prophecies.
So those were great men that left behind records for us to read of their greatness. And we can see it. That's the legacy of kings. Guess what? That's our legacy. If we do that which we are supposed to do, we leave behind a name that no one can go against. Oh, when he was alive, he was a force to be reckoned with. He brought the scriptures out. His household was in order. He tried his best to do whatever he could do for the people. He put his life on the line. He did this, he did that. Those are the things that you want to be said. Not, yeah, it's unfortunate the brother passed, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. And that's it. No stories about your works. No stories about war. No war stories for you. Because you wasn't never there in the war. You wasn't never there at the battle. Oh, man, remember this time we had went over here. We went to this country, and this brother was over here tripping, and there will be no stories like that of you. None. Because you did nothing. Go to Proverbs 13:22.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children.
You want to know why I said to his children's children? Because by default, your kids should be taken care of. By default. Not you got just enough life insurance to get buried. And a whole lot of debt for your people to deal with. They're supposed to have an economic floor when you leave, so that they can not have it hard, so that they can have it easier. But they got to be taught. They got to be trained up. Because without it, I mean, you're going to give them stuff and it's going to be like Jeroboam and Rehoboam. It'll cause a whole split in the family because an idiot now has the supreme control over your estate. Read on. Was that it on 22?
It's in the wealth. The rest is, in the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
Read it all over again.
Yes, sir.
The whole scripture.
A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children.
Uh-huh.
And the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
The wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. Meaning their wealth doesn't go to their children. Their wealth goes to somebody else. And then that person, they know what to do with it. All the wealth that all of these nations is getting, they're going to give it to us. Don't you want to be there to have the kings of these other nations, presidents and prime ministers, bow down before you, bringing back the wealth that they stole from us in the first place? I want to be on the receiving end of that. If you don't, that's all right. I'll take your place. I'll take your slaves for you. I'll hold them down. You know, when they get beat, I'll think of you. Go back to the article. No matter.
No matter the size of your principality.
Personality. Oh, principality. Yeah, go.
The desire to leave a legacy is a switch of manliness that cannot be ignored.
So this is one of the things why I know that y'all be making babies with the wrong men. Because there's a lot of men that want legacy. You know who's not afraid to have a legacy and make children with you? A husband. A boyfriend, not so much. A boyfriend probably will leave because you've been giving him the cookies. He done got the cow. So what he got to pay for it for? He knock you up. I ain't ready for all that. I'm dipping. Or you get pregnant by a dude who, that's what he just wanted. He just wanted to get a bunch of females pregnant. There are men like that. Oh, she fine. I'm going to get her pregnant. They have men that think like that. Their goal is not to marry you or build a family or nothing. They think you cute and they want to get you pregnant. That happens. And that's a minority amount of men. But they're responsible for the majority of children. That's a shame. Sirach 30:1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 1. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod.
Yep, because you got to correct your child. And mothers, when fathers are correcting the children, get out the way. Go ahead.
That he may have joy of him in the end.
Because an ass whooping is not going to kill him. Go ahead.
He that chasteneth his son shall have joy in him.
Uh-huh.
And shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance.
Want to know why he going to rejoice in him among his acquaintance? Because your acquaintances is going to say, man, your child is very well behaved. They so quiet, I didn't even know they was there. And you thinking in your head, yeah, because they know if they get out of line, that's going to be that behind. Read.
He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
If you teach your son, you grieve the enemy. Why? Because a strong-minded son from a strong-minded father creates another strong-minded son that leads a strong-minded nation. With a weak son, with an absent father, the enemy can do whatever they want. They can change your son to your daughter. Now you got a solder. All because you weren't there to teach them. Read.
And before his friends, he shall rejoice of him.
Because your friends are going to be like, damn, your son is just like you. Yes, you damn right he is. Go ahead.
Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead.
Why?
For he had left one behind that is like himself.
Because your son going to be just like you. And guess what? That goes up to the brothers that we raise up in the truth as well. You know who's a part of what camp based on how they teach. You know who is their bishop, captain, deacon, whoever, based on how they teach. Like, damn, you spend a lot of time around Deacon Isaac. Yeah, you spend a lot of time around Bishop Nathaniel. Yeah, you spend a lot of time around Bishop Yawasop. Because of how you teach, you're going to be just like those leaders. You're going to be the avenger. If something happened to them, this is a forewarning for those of y'all who may be listening that are against us. Leave our leaders where they are. The men that are coming up after them, just a warning, leave our leaders where they are. The men that are coming up behind them, you might not want to deal with them. It's a lot of us. A lot. More than we know. Read.
While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. And when he died, he was not sorrowful.
Why? Read on.
He left behind him an avenger against his enemies.
Because he left behind an avenger against the enemies. Go ahead.
And one that shall requite kindness to his friends.
One that's going to take care of his friends as well. Yeah, your pops may die, but I know this brother right here, I called him uncle. And I'm going to take care of my uncle because I know he was warring with my father. They was on the battlefield together, side by side, putting the work in. Sirach 11:28.
The book of Sirach, chapter 11, verse 28. Judge none blessed before his death, for a man shall be known in his children.
You're going to be known in your children. You can put the front on for everybody else. But how your kids act is how you act. Your kids out of control, you out of control. There's no order, protection, decisiveness. None of the king archetypes that we cover today, none of that stuff is in your house. And you can know that by how your children act. Now, sometimes, yes, you may have all of that and your child just go off because they was meant to be wicked. It is what it is. But a lot of times, you know how your household is based on your wife and your kids. So you can hide it just but for a reason. Let me see. Last scripture, Sirach 49:1.
Yes, sir. The book of Sirach, chapter 49, verse 1. The remembrance of Josiah is like the composition of the perfume that is made by the art of the apothecary.
And that's what you want your remembrance to be, a sweet smell. So the remembrance of this brother is like the remembrance of perfume made by the apothecary. You know when you smell a certain smell, it'll remind you of something back in the day. It reminds you of a good time that you had, or sometimes a bad time. Read.
It is sweet as honey in all mouths, and as music at the banquet of wine.
That's what your remembrance you want to be. Go ahead.
He behaved himself uprightly in the conversion of the people.
That's what you want your memorial to be. Go ahead.
And took away the abominations of iniquity. he directed his heart unto the Lord. And in the time of the ungodly, he established the worship of God.
And in the time of the ungodly, he established the worship of God. He made it to where everybody knew he not going for what we going for. He not going for what the world's saying. He's standing firm on his principles, and he's making us worship God. Therefore, if we don't want to worship God, we got to get from around him. If you want to worship God, you got to go to him, because that man's going to stand firm and worship God. That is the king archetype that we all got to embody. So, that's going to conclude the class. I pray that y'all all got some sort of edification from it. Lord's will, we'll see you another time. Shalom. Captain Matthew, IUIC New Orleans. We'll sign Christ bless.
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family.